And welcome back to Shogun 2 Total War with the Scramble for the Far East mod. Today we're gonna see about ending the Russians. I'll probably not end them completely. However, the two areas out here will barely be able to do anything. I'm pretty sure they're both within fire range of my ships. So after taking this town right here and this one, I will just situate my ships outside and continuously bombard them, and they won't be able to produce any new troops, and eventually the what little the Russians have left will crumble entirely. But before then, we need to have a battle against these strong forces here. I'm sure that these forces will go ahead and butt heads against the walls of my castle over here, and they'll all die. To shore up the morale of the defending troops, I have recruited a femboy called Eberhard. Okay, yes. And yes, before we do anything, we should start by sabotaging them so they don't run away from me. This one I sabotage. Well, I tried to anyways. Mostly not because I'm trying to catch them in a battle, because I don't want them to reinforce this force right here. With that said, I could actually send out an army after them, and then the next one will move forward. Now here comes the important ones, where we want to make sure that we can stop these armies. So I want to go after the one in the middle, because that will bring in everyone around it. So here's the one we're gonna try and sabotage. And we were able to sabotage him. Great. To make it as safe as possible for me, we're gonna bring in a second army to be in reinforcement. Unfortunately, this army lost its general due to a bloody assassin. We're gonna go ahead and assassinate this courtesan. Igor sounds very courtesan-ish, and she is gone. These armies lost quite a lot, and the thing is, we move pretty fast there, so I feel like we will be able to move back here and gain some reinforcement before we push forward again into this territory, as I'm soon to take it. Here's another. This one's called Sasha, which is more gender neutral, so that kind of fits more. So the first one that's possibly not a femboy, and the assassin fails. Great. Well, he was only a 1-star, so maybe not too surprising. Anyways, Himmler will now lead the charge and go against Mikhail Trushin, which is the commander of the enemy force. Right, great. I was able to bring in all of them, and there's 15,000 of them against 10,000 of mine. The important thing I see here is utter destruction of the Russian force. We need to surround them. Unfortunately for me, the Russians have taken up a position within a forest, so it'll be a heavily forested area, which retreating troops could easily slip by onto kind of either side as they escape. But let's go ahead and, yeah, you know what, I will bring in cavalry. However, I will not bring in general to start off with. I'm thinking we have cavalry and cannons come in, so the cavalry will aid in surrounding and destroying the enemy. With that said, let's jump straight into it, shall we, and defeat the Russian army once more. You know what? This is not as bad as I thought at all. I thought we would be in a more heavily forested area, given that, well, the position on the map. Looks fine. What I'm done is we've got 3 brigades. We've got 1 of 4 units that will be on the flank. We've got 1 of 5 units that we will be in the center, and then I will be sending the grenadiers to secure this hill up here. And with that, Let's go ahead and start the battle. Start ordering the troops forward. One thing to keep an eye on is, of course, enemy reinforcements. As in the last battle we had against the Russians, the enemy reinforcement turned up right behind us, and we've got a similar thing going on here, where we've got a sizable Russian force turning up in our flank. We will halt the advance as we have a serious threat to our flank. I will order cavalry immediately. Looks though as though they're trying to bypass my lines, basically. They're not trying to go head on with me. And I might actually just let them pass. Let's see, we've got the Marines moving forward here. I'll order the Marines forward to secure this line right here. Okay, I thought they were gonna buy... Oh, that went quick. The guy died immediately. There's quite a few of them now actually moving in on us here. I'm gonna order the Dragoons to set up and then be moved up the flank. We also have the reinforcing cavalry that will turn up here. Currently we kind of have a ugly looking flank right there. So I will move my troops back. This is perfect because there's plenty of space for me to get my troops in around behind this. And the Russians around here aren't really coming on as strong right now. And I have plenty of time to set up my cavalry. We do have more Marines coming in. So we've got the reserve line back here. And then I order the 2 artillery pieces to take up position on this hill with the general right behind. Okay, so there's quite a lot of shooting going on here. I'll order the Dragoons to fire because they are firing at us. And that almost kind of routed them. And then I'm ordering all the Dragoons forward. The thing is, I'm sure this is not all of them. And so we will have to keep an eye that more troops are coming through there. We're gonna move through, and as we do, these are gonna flank up. I want 2 of the Dragoons to move to the side while the rest continue forwards. I don't know if we've hit the units up here at all, which will make the task of the cavalry heavier, since they haven't done proper enough damage on them. But I have plenty enough cavalry to destroy the enemy. Okay, the enemy is holding position here, which is great, because then I can take my time to figure out how I want to destroy them. And these guys don't seem bothered by the fact that there's almost 1,000 cavalry troopers right next to them, just eating up all these troops. And it will give time for my troops here to soften up the troops in this area, so it'll be easier for me to run them over. I'll order the troops once more to take control of themselves. Order them into position. We'll have 1 cavalry unit going after this one. They're not suffering nearly enough the casualties that I want, and this unit right here is gearing up to shoot us down. And now I'll order the cavalry forward once more to attack the enemy. And as I do that, I will order my troops to hold fire and we'll run them over. Meanwhile, we are exchanging some fire here, but not a lot. We're gonna set up the second round of cannons. Okay, all the Russians are more or less falling apart here. Oh, they managed to rally against a single unit of cavalry. We'll have to pull that one back. What I think I'll do is I'll get the dragoons to set up. And we can set up and shoot at them. And then these troops will retire, as these will open fire again. And we can see about bringing some of extra hurt down upon the enemy. And I think that was enough to soften them up. And now the cavalry will go in again. Dragoons firing over here. I'll have one move in to strike them from behind. They're setting up on the backside of the hill, which I don't really get. Doesn't seem to be coming any more reinforcements from here, but there are quite a few coming from over here. Dragoons will strike and destroy this one before retiring with the rest of the cavalry. This unit, oh, it's a lifeguard unit, that's why it's holding out against my troops. But just as I say that, it looks like the square, or the defensive formation there, was broken. Luckily here for me, I'm on kind of the safe side of this ridge. But we need to retire lest we get shot up by those enemies, and all the cavalry will now retire. This is not a great position for the infantry. What I want to do is I want to push them forward up here. And then we do seem to have not the greatest position set up here. So I want to have these stretch their lines but also move forward. And then the Grenadiers coming in with 4 units of Marines moving forward here. With additional 4 units of Marines. And then to back up the center, because they're gonna take quite a hit, I want the this line of Marines to move up. I'm gonna make sure that everyone's on that. And I normally don't use that because I am kind of thinking that music is copyrighted, because I've had that problem before. Okay, they're coming in strong now towards the center. And my cavalry is way too tired here. You can hear a little bit of the music, but most of it is drowned out by the sound of the guns. Did these both guns failed to deploy properly? So we haven't gained any fire from them at all. We're holding on pretty well. The thing is, I think the ground here is a little bit too uneven. Or for some reason these guys aren't really firing. I'm gonna move them for... Oh yeah, they aren't firing because I told them not to fire. Marines gain the hill, and then the second group there of Marines will gain that ground. And I will run the general through the battery once more. So let's see if we can't get both batteries to fire. The Russian army is kind of split. We've got troops moving in to reinforce, but then the strong force is kind of here, but the large part of it is on the wrong side of the hill. What I could do, the increased range of the dragoons could work, that they could fire from here above into the enemy. And I kind of want a cavalry charge to go in here to try and break this part up. I can probably safely set up the cavalry here without them taking too many casualties. And now the Marines are going in. What I might have done is I should have sent the ones that I sent to reinforce the center. Instead, could have moved in a strong way through here, and we could have then the infantry loop around, and in that way secure a position around, completely surround the Russian force. But we've got pretty strong positions here, I think. The Russian units are so much larger. 480 men for the infantry units. Okay, we got quite the break of enemy infantry over here. They are getting reinforcement, but it looks like it's mostly cannons. I'm gonna send in the cavalry now, even though they're super tired. And here I'm hopefully now getting 3 lines of units to fire. Dragoons in the back, and then Marines, and then the normal line infantry in front. The terrain is not that favorable. The first line would need to get up a little bit higher to get proper firing range on the enemy. Okay, the enemy is retreating in this area. I'm gonna send in the cavalry to kind of break that up, and then these infantry will move forward. We do have secondary line to protect the first, so I'm gonna boldly now move first line up through towards that ridge, and we're gonna see if we can get some more shots in. This group will now move more strongly to take up a flanking position, and we will now bit by bit try to encircle the Russians. Let's have the Grenadiers gain ground as well. And why don't I detach 3 of the Marines to get in a flanking position there. Dragoons are fine. And then these guys are not really firing. I'll move them up closer to support the center there. My cavalry over here isn't really being able to pull through. Want to make sure that we get as many of these as possible. Okay, let's get these guys now to start surrounding. They're probably going to start being tired, so I'm going to push them into proper march. And we're going to push that in through here. These guys moving in, surrounding the Russians. I will even go as far as to detach these 2 and move them further to the side. Strong position of the Russian force right here. A lot of gunfire is going in here. I want shrapnel shot to rain down on the Russian force here, and then I'm gonna move. That's not the general. I'm gonna move the 2 generals forward, and we'll see about inspiring the troops in front there. And meanwhile, we can see my troops here slowly but surely surrounding the Russian force. We've got quite a few troops here. Okay, you do not like your situation. I'm gonna push forward the reserve troops. These 3 will also move up, and then the troops that we have here will move in to close the distance, and we'll be moving in over here. I want all the cavalry now to kind of close in the Russian force. The shrapnel seem to have done the job in terms of breaking up the center there of the Russian force. And switching out the front line there, save the units. Dragoons are now kind of rallying, so we'll have them swing around now. We have a few units that are making it out, but in the bigger picture, I have now been able to surround and destroy the Russian force. We've got mass rout through the center here. Got shrapnel shot just blasting away at the retreating troops. There's a few holdouts, especially around the cannon there. The Russian troops here, they do not know where to go. We'll close in the we'll close the gaps. I'll order in the cavalry. We'll actually have the dragoons break in through here and go towards the center. I want my cannons to fire on their cannons. And there we go. I have surrounded the Russian force and we are victorious. Now all I need to do is absolutely slaughter it. So I don't want to see any more than... Preferably it will crush them all, but I'd say anything more than 2,000 Russians making it out, I will consider a failure. And with that, the battle is won. It's a total slaughter of the Russian army. 10,000 on my side against 15,000 on there. I lost 3,000 men, but the enemy lost 14,000. Only 1,200 made it out. So I completed my task with quite the margins, as I didn't want more than 2,000 of them leaving, and only 1,200 did. So definitely an easy, out-resolvable force. No units destroyed, No unit taking too many casualties, although we have one grenadier here that lost about half of the troop, which isn't great, but not too bad either. Cavalry being the one that killed the most. Actually, we have a field howitzer. Kind of surprised they managed to get 600 there, and this one got 500. Quite surprised. Quite surprised indeed. I guess they did really well in this one. But there was a lot of compact forces. The Russians like to put their troops close together. I guess it's easier to keep them that way than to have them run away. But it also makes it quite the field day to fire at them. It's hard to miss all those troops. Unfortunately for Russia, it seems like they're running out of troops.
As you wish, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Unfortunately for me, it looks like I am not able to pursue the Russian force,
Without delay.
which I would have liked. We do have this force right here. Right, these. You know what? This force has a lot of cavalry, a lot of fresh cavalry that could be brought in. So this they're all actually retreating, but let's go ahead and strike this one. It would be a shame if I now lost the Dragoon Regiment 21, as that is a regiment that I cannot actually recruit and replenish. Looks like we're not losing a single soldier though against the enemy. Yep, we are completely running them down. Could be a strategy in mind in future to have a specific just cavalry detachment or cavalry army moving next to the others just for the purpose of running down remnants. This one, for some reason, actually makes quite a stand, so I do not dare out-resolve this one. I don't know what this general is all about, but clearly he is quite strong, so I'll have to play this one. I do not know why I was forced to play that battle myself, because obviously the enemy didn't really have a chance, did they? And not only that, as I played the battle myself, I killed more of my own troops than what the enemy was able to inflict. They killed 7 of us, but I lost 23. I killed 16 of my own men, while the enemy killed 7. But there we have it. We managed to destroy that force as well. I don't know, God knows why, but yeah, there we have it. And shut up! Oh, so dramatic are you? God, goes on and on about it. Just die already and leave me be. And another decisive victory for the cavalry detachment, running down and slaying all the Russian forces, which makes the way clear directly to this town right here, where we actually have a steel mill we can take control over. As that is happening, I will actually go ahead. Let's see if I can't. Can I do it? Can I do it this way? The thing is, I want to attack the port and disembark my army through the... No, okay, that didn't work. No, 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 no. Where are you going? Where are you going? You're supposed to land there. I want to be able to do like... Oh, God. I can't land my troops here? Why? Just bloody well land the troops. Adventure and glory. Okay, so you can't land your troops there. Right, you have to go all the way back there then. Why? The thing is, I don't know, how are you supposed to do, like, why can't I do like I do in Empire Napoleon, where you can take over an enemy's port and launch your troops from there, and because you're, you know, leaving them in a port, you can march directly afterwards. Why can I not do that? Why is that not a thing? As this is gearing up, I will go ahead and enact my plan of total bombardment, where we will start to bombard all the Russian towns as they are well within range of my cannons. I can actually bombard this one as well. We'll start to bombard all of them and make sure that going forward there won't be that many Russian troops left. And that will go for all settlements. I'll make sure that we start bombarding this one down here as well. So we're setting it all afire. Oh, they're actually building some troops down here. They do have a college. Interesting, they put the Supreme Court down here in the corner. But there we have it, we're setting fire to everything. Now I just need to conduct quite a few sieges, and I think I might be able to crush the Russians in this episode. So let's go ahead and enter and see if we can't finish off the Russian bastards before winter. Wait, how many turns are it in winter? 3. Okay, so I won't be doing it this year then. Well, would you look at that, I was quite surprised to find that the Russians would attack me after all this. But they decide to do. So, we have yet another battle on our hands. 6,000 men on my side against 5,000 Russians. And a lot of that is artillery. Tons and tons of... I was about to say 12-pounders, but it's mostly 6-pounders actually. None of that matters, as they have no chance against us. The battle has started. However, it looks like no one's told the Russians that the battle is started, because they haven't moved even a centimeter. I don't know what's going on. But I guess that's just as well. I will order a bombardment of the cannons on this side. I am ordering my cavalry to take this side because I noticed there was 2 Jaeger units. So I think this might be an easier way to kind of move in on them. Okay, these are now moving forward. Because I kind of think that I can take them out kind of on their own. I don't know what's going on here. I guess they're not moving forward because they've got artillery superiority. And they're thinking of using that, because that's usually how the AI works. Like, if they have a lot of artillery, they stay in the defensive. If they don't, then they go on the attack. So, I guess we won't see major action. I mean, the Russian army is getting absolutely crushed here. And this army even had a proper general. They're getting blasted to bits. And they're doing very little to nothing to stand against me. Maybe they realize that they don't really have a chance. I don't know. moves forward. Cavalry set up in the back, ready to chase them down once they start running. Let's see, they're setting up a battery down here. They've got one unit back here. We can see about hitting that one and soften it up so the cavalry can easily move through it once the time comes. Okay, it's starting to fire on the cavalry. It's also starting to get hit. Yeah, it's taking a few hits there. Good, good. Let's focus in on the units that are over there. Cavalry not too happy with their situation. However, neither is the Russian unit. Caucasus infantry overrun and destroyed. The Russians have concentrated the forces towards the sort of the center of the battlefield. Let's see if I can push all these up onto the ridge, as now my cavalry, they're getting fired upon by the troops back here, so I kind of need to have them pushed through. And they'll hit some stiff resistance down here. Okay, the Russian forces are trying to run away, so I'll set up troops to block them. Feel like the cavalry could use some aid. But as the rest of the army is breaking, I think we'll soon see like them all just come crashing down. I'm gonna push the cavalry straight through.
Good news, sir. The enemy
And with that push, the enemy general died, and the enemy army is no more. I don't want to shoot my own troops, so I'm just going to order my troops to run through each other. And we'll see about chasing these all down. And I should probably tell the artillery to hold its fire. Actually, fire on this unit. But there we go. The army was crushed quickly enough. Clearly, there's no resistance left in the Russians, except for the strong points in their castles. Well, their attack certainly didn't pay off. They lost their army. They could have, they probably could have done that, used that in the siege that they're trying to conduct in Outer Manchuria. 670 lost on my side, while most of the Russian army is destroyed, and only 400 made it away. Hopefully that is enough to destroy the entire thing, which wasn't the case. Well, they're finally laying Outer Manchuria under siege. I'm sure I will be able to destroy them in no time. Meanwhile, we have advanced, so we're not advancing on this as fast as I was hoping. I was hoping I'd land the general's army here, so I could take this fort out quite easily, which is not the case now. However, they seem to have emptied basically all these districts of troops, so they're literally sending everything. Although the Russians themselves, of course, only claim that it's 20%. Or however, whatever it is that they currently are saying. They are sending one assassin here, so we're gonna go ahead and take him out. And then I'm gonna see about sabotaging these armies, so that they are not able to reach the fort in time to save it from my siege. A lot of interesting cavalry in this army. And a lot of crap troops in this one. Gonna go ahead and start the siege. It's Himli that lays the siege. And then we're gonna bring in the other two armies here. And we're gonna bombard it a little bit with the ships. I don't know, maybe, you know what, I'll start a little bit bombardment here. No damage. No cannons. No fencing and no hospital. And there, I was hoping to detach. You know, I don't need to hold on to the port. I'd rather see if I can do maybe some more damage onto the castle. I don't think there's room, maybe. No, there's no more room, actually. More than those two to fire. Let's go ahead and see if you can bombard a little bit more and bombard here. Also, I had one more clan that declared war on me. Let's go ahead and see who that was. So we're at war again with... it's these guys. Right, so they've actually kind of consolidated their area. Or like made more of a, you know, rather than having this long stretched out, they seem to have figured out way against Imawanikune, which is dying. But they've figured out what they're doing here. I would like the Brits to join in, but the Brits have also threatened me with war. So I don't know if I want to allow the British to grow any bigger. Also, you note that they have courtesans here working over my garrisons, building rank through that. So I'm not sure that I want the British to gain any more territory, because what if they become very unhappy with me? Right now we've plus 48, which isn't that great. A lot of the minus points come from territorial expansion, then past grievances, sabotage attempts, and their threat of attack, which is pretty odd. They're angry with me over their own threat of attack. I can increase it by another 18 points, which would bring us up to, what, 62? No, not 62, 66 points. But even then, it's... right. But given that we've had 3 battles in this episode, and sieges are always long and tedious, and I'd rather do them off camera. We'll do that off camera. Next episode, I will have done this, and I've done this, and we'll set up these. This will be the final battle, and then then I think we'll declare it victory. We'll declare victory next episode, I'm thinking. Because, well, I'll send a ninja through and see if they've got anything more. Like if they've got massive force built up here. I doubt it. But otherwise, I think next episode will be the last. Because right now we're kind of going... It's the same. A lot of the same. After that first big Russian battle where we fought like 30,000, we haven't really gotten anything close to that. And it looks like, you know, the Russian forces, they're done for. We're bombarding them. There's nothing left to be done. All of it is conquered. And as I already explained, I've already taken all that I need. The only thing that I kinda would want is I would want my kingdom level to at least reach the level where I can appoint a field marshal. I remember last time talking with Izzy that it was it took a little bit too long. Like look at the amount of territory I hold, and I'm not able to declare a field marshal. I basically own half the map. I think there's like 120, 150 provinces, and I own like 68 of them, or 64, or something like that. So I own half the provinces on the entire map. Even more, maybe. Actually, is there a way I can see how many provinces there are? No, you can't see exactly how many there are, but I own everything, but yeah, I cannot appoint a field marshal, which I think is kind of shit. But with that said, we'll go ahead and end it here, and for the next one, we'll tie the bow together, as it were, and end this series. And with that said, I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!